Hey everyone, it's Andy Meyer from Airplane Collectibles here. I'm coming at you with another airplane presentation. And this presentation is about not one, but two of America's most amazing looking bombers. One from the past, and one from the present. These two airplanes are separated by nearly half a century, but they have exactly the same wingspan, and were developed by the same company. The YB-49 first flew in 1947, and its contemporary counterpart, the B-2, first flew in 1989, and will still be flying decades from now. This amazing aircraft pioneer called Jack Northrop, he was the champion of the flying wing design, which eliminates the fuselage and tail found on most aircraft. And both of these aircraft have the word, are sometimes known as the flying wing. Both the YB-49 and the B-2, both are sometimes referred to as flying wings. And I just told you that Jack Northrop designed the flying wing. And he thought this became almost an obsession with him. He knew the best thing for the Air Force was the pure flying wing. And it was like this. The very first flying wing that he was going to design and build was the XB-35 flying wing bomber. I'll tell you about that in a future video. But the XB-35 flying wing bomber first flew in 1946. They say it has a bomb load of 40,000 pounds and has a range of 7,500 miles. But World War II was over by the time the XB-35 first took to the air in 1946, powered by 4 piston engines. And then the following year, in 1947, the YB-49 made its first flight. And the YB-49 has 8 jet engines. And it made its first flight in 1947. And here's some more facts about the YB-49. It can fly at an altitude of 42,000 feet. It has a range of 9,977 miles. But despite those 4 jet engines, it really just has a top speed of 500 miles per hour. It has a wingspan of 172 feet. It is 15 feet high. Well, it was 15 feet high. And it has a length of 53 feet. And this is what it looks like right here. And by the way, there was Air Force pilot Robert Cardenas, and he was the chief test pilot for the YB-49 flying wing. But there was a problem. Cardenas was nearly killed when he tried to put the flying wing into a stall during testing. And you might be wondering, well, what's a stall? Well, here's what a stall is. When you start slowing down, suddenly the airflow over the wings ceases to create lift, and you quit flying, and it shudders and shakes. That's a stall. And actually, he actually says the YB-49 was actually going like this, kind of going downwards a little. So what happened was Robert Cardenas, they say he hit the left throttle full power on the left side, and then it started to come out of that. But even while trying to get out of that sometimes the YB-49 would make some very tight turns and spins, but he could get out of that. So the YB-49 was kind of difficult to fly by then. But the YB-49, surprising as it is, it doesn't fly anymore, and here's why. In 1949, a YB-49 flew from Edwards Air Force Base to Andrews Air Force Base, near Washington, D.C. And here's what it was doing. After spending at least a couple days, or maybe even just one day in Washington, D.C., greeted by all those people, he took off from Andrews Air Force Base and flew back to Edwards Air Force Base. But during the flight, 6 of the bomber's 8 jet engines caught fire, forcing an emergency landing in Arizona. And then later that year, the Air Force's order for 30 flying wing bombers was canceled. But they weren't finished with the flying wing idea. Many people actually knew that the YB-49 was a very hard airplane to fly. It was just hard for people to fly it. It had a hard time making some tight turns, had a hard time making some other turns. So the Air Force was tapped to come up with something better. And in 1988, they outdid themselves. And they made a flying wing much more workable. And in 1988, that is when the Northrop Grumman B-2, the new flying wing, was rolled out of its hangar. And the Northrop Grumman B-2 made its first flight in 1989. And it was easier to fly, it was easier to turn, it could carry a heavier bomb load. And they actually say it's actually a bit faster than the old flying wing, the YB-49. It's a bit faster. And the best part is, Robert Cardenas was still around when the B-2 made its first flight, and there was a different test pilot. The test pilot for the B-2, for the Northrop Grumman B-2, was test pilot Roos Hines. And he said, and Robert just said to him, "I can't tell you much. It's a different airplane. Just one thing, Roos. Just don't stall the airplane." And then after he flew it, he asked, "Did you try stalling it?" And he says, "Well, guess what, Robert? The thing won't let you. It won't let you stall it." Which is the best part about the B-2. It won't let you stall it. Yeah. And the first production B-2 was delivered to the Air Force in 1993. And we know that the B-2 first flew in 1989. And you can see, look, right here, this is what it looks like. You can see, like, the engines are, like, right there. There's one there and one there. You might think there's only 2 engines, but there's actually only 4 engines. It's just that there's 2 engines that could be, like, right here and 2 right here. Yeah, they're just, like, hard to see. The B-2 has a top speed of 620 miles per hour, can fly at an altitude of 50,000 feet, and they're actually designed to carry 40,000 pounds of conventional or nuclear bombs, and they have a range of 6,897 miles. And here's something else about the B-2. It has the exact same 172-foot wingspan as the YB-49. The wingspan of the B-2 is 172 feet. But the B-2 has a height of 17 feet. 17 feet high and has a length of 69 feet. And there's something else. The fleet of 21 B-2s based at Whiteman's Air Force Base in Missouri definitely proved its combat in Kosovo, and they say that B-2s destroyed more than 30% of Serbian targets in 8 weeks by flying non-stop missions from Missouri to Kosovo and back. And the B-2 is actually much more sophisticated than America's other long-range bombers, the B-52 and the B-1. You see, those 2 bombers, they're pretty useful, and they're actually pretty successful bombers, but sometimes they would often get detected. And the B-2 is actually hard to detect, hard to pick up on radar sometimes. So they say that the B-2 bomber can penetrate heavily defended areas, fly for thousands of miles undetected, carrying a huge load of weapons, deliver those weapons precisely, and get out of that area without being detected. And that is why the B-2 will still be flying decades from now. The U.S. Air Force unquestionably has the most modern bomber in the sky. And there's something else. In Operation Enduring Freedom, the B-2 flew a 44-hour mission with mid-air refueling. It flew from Missouri to Afghanistan and landed at an airbase in Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. And that, my friends, is about the B-2 bomber. This is about the Northrop Grumman B-2 and the YB-49. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you're new, think about it. And by the way, I have some good news. My F-15E Strike Eagle is almost complete. I still don't know when I'll have it ready, but my best guess is, I'd say maybe sometime next week, I think. I'll see if I can work on it some more today, but as soon as it's ready, I'll bring it out to you guys. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And by the way, do you think I should get a model of one of these two flying wings? Let me know in the comments below, and share with a friend if you can. And by the way, it would really help me if you would subscribe, because if you subscribe, I can get more videos, and more videos that you'd probably see, like more presentations, more plane spotting, and also more viewing cool models. So if you are new, well, please think about subscribing. But if you don't, that's okay. I'll always be here, and if you want to, just feel free anytime you want. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and most importantly, stay safe.